Help support AMTV by becoming a patron, an AMTV staff member, and following us over on Twitter. Hi there guys, it's Adam Martin here, and welcome back to another video. And guess what? We've got a positive story for once. Woo! I know some of you think I always cover like more negative things, but we've actually got something positive today because Channel 4, good old Channel 4, is celebrating both streaming and linear growth. Now, if you've been following my videos on the state of the TV industry, particularly here in the UK recently, you'll know fortunes for a lot of channels, both old and new, haven't been too good. So to hear that Channel 4 is celebrating growth is quite remarkable. We're going to get into it. This news came from RXTV. As always, go and check them out. They have a lot of great resources and articles on broadcasting generally. The Barb data for January to June reveals the channel is successfully growing its overall audience while migrating viewers to streaming, which is exactly what it wants. The figures show Channel 4 streaming has grown by 7.3 billion viewer minutes so far in 2024, which is up 32% year on year, contributing to a 4 billion increase in overall viewing minutes across linear and streaming, and a record high of 164 billion viewer minutes. That represents a 2.5 year-on-year increase, whilst Barb data shows major commercial broadcasters on average posted a 3% year-on-year drop in overall viewing minutes. So, first of all, big congratulations to Channel 4 for doing this. Again, in a world where the old guard, if you will, so the BBC, ITV, Channel 4, Channel 5, are rapidly moving to go more digital, to move things more to streaming, etc. For Channel 4 to have this growth when others like it are experiencing a 3% drop and it's gaining almost that in growth, you've got to commend them to it. You'll probably be asking, how are they doing this? How have they turned this around? Why are they, how have they come up so much? I guess we'll look into that a little bit later, but continuing on, it says, what are viewers streaming on Channel 4? This will give us an idea as to the success. Driving the streaming growth are a raft of hits, with these shows attracting more than 3 million average views across streaming and linear combined. There's Gogglebox with 4.8 million, 24 Hours in Police Custody with 4.5 million, The Push, Murder on the Cliff with 3.5 million, and To Catch a Copper with 3.2 million. There's a theme going on there with some of them. A lot of police, a lot of murder. Additionally, streaming is fast becoming the go-to for Channel 4 viewers, with more than a dozen hits in 2024 attracting a bigger streaming audience compared with linear, including The Jury, Murder Trial, which attracted a consolidated 28-day audience of 2.2 million streaming views versus 1.1 million linear overnights. Now, this is a big deal. This is showing us how viewing figures especially have changed. As I've said before, 30 years ago, even 20 years ago, you'd measure it based on overnights, how many people were watching live, because that's still, even though we had, VHS recording, even digital recorders, watching live was still the primary way most of us watched television, even 20 years ago in the mid-2000s, right? So if you got, say, 4.8 million then, that wouldn't be considered too hot because, say, an average of, 20 million people would be watching live TV. Whereas now, that number is nowhere near that high. Not as many people are watching live. Far more people are watching particularly pre-recorded stuff, dramas, reality stuff, anything like that. A lot of people are watching them via streaming. They can do it at their leisure. They don't have to set aside a specific time. It's more convenient for them. So 4.8 million now is considered almost like a roaring success. A case in point in that, we've seen this happen on the BBC as well. I know this is about Channel 4, but just to deviate a second, as Doctor Who becomes the biggest BBC drama for young people of the year, where a BBC spokesperson actually told The Times overnight ratings no longer provide an accurate picture of all those who watch drama in the on-demand world. This season of Doctor Who premiered on iPlayer nearly 24 hours before broadcast, and episode 1 has already been viewed by nearly 6 million viewers and continues to grow. Exactly, this is exactly it, and no wonder Doctor Who made the top drama for under 35s, because the vast majority of under 35s are consuming television this way, and it annoys me so much when people say, under 6 million, what an awful figure. That would have been an awful figure 30 years ago. It's not an awful figure now. And, the broadcasters recognize this. Most people recognize this. Back to Channel 4, reality hit Dance Moms was the third most streamed program on Channel 4, with 31% of viewing having come from 16 to 34s. Again, you see, this is how they're moving across. More people are streaming. The release of full-length episodes of Channel 4 programming via YouTube is a further growth area. Across 2024 so far, such content generated 42.1 million UK views, up 276% year-on-year. This highlights progress made against Channel 4's fast-forward strategy by Channel 4's in-house social unit 4 Studio, which is committed to a doubling of all social views by 2030. As previously reported, Channel 4 will make full coverage of the Paralympics available on YouTube. Now, this whole thing of debuting full episodes on YouTube, I remember at the time, I think I was pretty skeptical about this because I didn't know how this was going to work in their favor, particularly not to mention with advertising. But again, if they could put ads on the videos on YouTube, they could generate revenue from that. Again, 42.1 million views across 2024 so far is pretty decent. And let's face it, there are some people who, for whatever reason, won't go to a channel's dedicated streaming offering. You know, instead of going to the iPlayer, people might turn to YouTube first and see if they can find what they're looking for on there. So it's no surprise to me that this has gone up nearly 300% year on year, and it seems like it's only going to keep doing so. Channel 4 have been ahead of the curve. I think making coverage of the Paralympics available on YouTube is an excellent idea, and I guess in a way reinforces the accessibility of those games, the fact that you're not only airing it on your channels, but you're airing it on a platform that is generally accessible to a wide variety of people. In the coming years, Channel 4 will close more of its current linear broadcast channels in favour of streaming-only services. Next week, it's closing its music channels on Sky and Virgin Media. Yes, including the 4Music and the Box and stuff. We already talked about that. It is a bit of a shame, but I can completely understand why they're shutting those down. So if you want to see more about that, you can check out that video. But ultimately, again, this is a big win for Channel 4, and I'm very happy for them. If you want to see more about the celebrations, as it were, Channel 4 have this on their own website where it claims it's outpacing the market as record streaming audiences drive overall viewing growth in 2024. Let's have them be a bit boastful, why not, eh? Ian Katz, who's the Chief Content Officer for Channel 4, said, "It's great to see Channel 4's long-term strategy of prioritising digital viewing and investing in distinctive British streaming-first content bearing fruit. This data shows that even in a challenging market, we can successfully grow our overall audience by attracting new digital natives and migrating existing viewers to digital platforms. At the heart of this is our streaming-first content strategy, a unique blend of distinctive drama, such as The Gathering, must-watch documentaries like The Push and The Fall, plus compulsive reality such as Married at First Sight. Channel 4 pioneered the transition to streaming among commercial broadcasters, and these figures show we are accelerating our transition to becoming Britain's first public service streamer." So it seems they are making headway. You know, I'll hold my hands up. I was skeptical about this at first, but if these numbers are to be believed, they are actually doing quite well, and they might outpace the BBC, ITV, all of the competition, who are now radically playing catch-up. Channel 4 seems to be leading the way. You know, not perfectly, and there's still room for improvement, but it seems like, you know, again, as this bears fruit, it's now saying to the other commercial broadcasters, like, there you go, we're doing it. When are you going to do it? But that is all for this video. I just wanted to take some time to celebrate Channel 4's achievement. You know, it's a great channel, a lot of history, a lot of importance for British TV, and I'm glad to see that even as things get tougher for those older broadcasters, that it is still able to compete, still able to thrive, and still able to have victorious moments like this. If you enjoyed the video, please leave a like on it. It really does help us out. And subscribe to the channel as well. We would love to have you aboard here with us. In the meantime, I've been Martyn from AMTV. Thank you for joining me, and I'll see you next time. Thank you to our patrons for helping to support the show, and a special thank you to Macra, Ethan Carberry-Holt, Bruce Danton, Derek Chambers, Shaun Knock, Daud Khan, Liam De-Maine, Trev Hughes, Dec, Evonne Okafor, Jen, Tim Ripley, Mr. Eurovision 1986, Ted Elliott, John Wakefield, and Martyn L. Thurman, our AMTV staff members.